So what does it mean to have school-life balance?
Gosh, that is such a common question.
For real world answers to all of your questions on nursing, school, and life as Dr. Wife.
Oftentimes my students, they are, of course they have oftentimes jobs outside of school, family, relationships, friends. Oftentimes they're volunteering and involved in organizations and leadership roles. And so I get that question a lot of how can I do this well? And I'm feeling overwhelmed at just trying to balance everything. And so, of course, when things are out of balance, it can negatively affect your experience in nursing school.
Sure.
What I would say is the first thing you need to do is really think about what matters to you, what's most important to you. So cute. What matters to you? So kind of go through and do an inventory of the things that have the highest priority in your life. Sometimes you find that something you've been doing, you just continue to do because you've never had a reason to stop doing it, or you didn't even think about the fact that you could stop doing it. So think about what's most important to you. And then I would say the second thing is set realistic expectations for yourself. So what is it that you can do? What can you accomplish? What is realistic as far as how much you're going to be available for each of those people, each of those opportunities in your life? So obviously, if you're in school, you need to be able to focus on school and complete it successfully. But then you have life relationships that you also need to maintain because you want to have those when you're done with nursing school. And then you may have other things that are really important to you that you don't want to let go. But you have to set expectations for what it is you think you're going to be capable of. I would say the third thing is having some flexibility with yourself and some grace for yourself, because you're going to find that it's a juggle, and trying to do everything well is probably not going to happen, which means you're going to have to get more comfortable with mediocrity, which is awful.
You heard it here, folks. Get comfortable with mediocrity.
Well, and it's an awful thing for nursing students because they're such high achievers. They're so goal-oriented and they want to do well, and everyone equates, if I'm going to be a nurse, I want to be an A nurse because otherwise I shouldn't be taking care of people. So there's a lot of pressure there that students put on themselves. But, the ability to do...
We don't have that in the music industry.
No. No. I'd say not. So I think just being able to have grace for yourself that you're not going to be able to be all things for all people at all times. I oftentimes tell my students that when I am being a really good employee, then I'm typically being kind of a bad mom. Or I may be being a good wife, but then I'm kind of being a bad employee. And so there's this juggle, this constant juggle, and just recognizing...
She's always a great wife, so she must be a terrible employee.
And so it's this juggle, and being able to be mediocre at different times and different places in your life is important, because I'll tell my students that you may need to get a B or a C on that test or that project because that friend needed you that night that you should have been studying. That friend relationship was really important and you needed to be there for them. Or that family function was something really important to your family, and so you had to make a sacrifice. And being able to give yourself the freedom to have some mediocrity in your life and just know that it's a juggle. So, and the next time you can make school your priority and tell your friends that you need to study. And so then you're going to probably feel like a bad friend. But at that point, school got the priority. And that's just what all of nursing school is. But ultimately, I would say it's just a season. So it won't always be that way. School won't always dominate your life. It won't always take the priority over all those other important areas. And so just keep that in mind. It's just a season. It's just a season that you need to get through. You do want to have those relationships when you're done with school. So do your best to maintain them as well and keep some balance.
Keep some balance.
So the fifth thing is to remember that when you are saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So when you are prioritizing how you're going to spend your time, if you say yes to something that doesn't matter that much to you, then you're going to be saying no to something that does matter a lot, and vice versa. So when you say no to certain things, you're saying yes to other things. We talk about this a lot with our family. We talk about how when someone is looking for a volunteer, let's say, for a school function, they may be looking for a volunteer, and I feel that need to say, yes, I want to volunteer. I want to be helpful. I want to fill that need. When I say yes to that, I'm saying no to something else. And that no may come with a great cost. I may be saying no to being able to spend a Sunday night with the family doing family things. I may be saying no to the rest and the peace and the hours of sleep that I need because now I'm volunteering extra. And so just to know that when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And think about that and make your yes the best yes it can be so that you're really prioritizing the things that are important in your life.
Even that bird agrees with you.
It's saying yes, yes,
Yes, yes. I'm going to be out enjoying the day. I'm a bird. Tweet, tweet.
Nursing school won't feel so tough. Helping others won't be so rough. You are confident, compassionate, and so much more. But sometimes it feels